Welcome to our tutorial on managing journal entries in Xreference. A journal entry is a record of a financial transaction in an accounting system, detailing the accounts affected, the amounts debited and credited, and a description of the transaction. It serves as the foundational record for all subsequent financial reporting. In this tutorial, we'll explore how journal entries are handled in Xreference. To view the general ledger in Xreference, navigate to Finance in the menu and select the first item in the list to display the general ledger. The general ledger in Xreference is automatically populated from various transactions, but some areas still require manual journal entries. One example we'll use today is recording a payment made to the ATO to fulfill business activity statement obligations at the time of lodgement. On the bottom left of the screen, click on the Journal Entries button to display the existing manual journal entries. To create a new one, click the New Journal Entry button and add a description for the journal in the narrative text field. A journal entry in Xreference can have multiple general ledger lines, but the debits and credits must balance. Typically, an ATO payment is made with a credit card, resulting in a bank charge, which will be included in this journal entry. In the ATO portal, we will copy the values from finance reports, 7,100 or 7,200, depending on whether the activity statements are accrual or cash-based. The four elements are bank charges for the credit card fee, GST paid, GST collected, and the bank account payment. If you also use payroll, there should be a fifth one for PAYG withholding payable, which is a debit entry. The bank charge is not shown on the portal, but you will notice the amount on your bank transaction is slightly larger than the amount owing to the tax office. You can determine the credit card fee by subtracting the expected tax payment from the total shown in your bank account transaction just after you pay it. Select the account, amount, and direction, then click Add to Journal to add each line of the journal entry. When the lines are completed, the entry can be saved in a pending state, but will not be written to the general ledger until the status is changed to complete. Reference numbers for journal entries are automatically created if the field is left with the text new by the user. Clicking the Save button will record the transaction and update the relevant chart accounts. Another example of a journal entry occurs at the beginning of the financial year and involves moving the current year earnings to retained earnings to clear out the current earnings account, ready for the next financial year. Once again, navigate to the General Ledger within Finance in the menu and select the Journal Entries button. Click on New Journal Entry and set the date to the 1st of July. Once the narrative is entered, there are only two entries required for this task. Enter a debit for the current year earnings value and a credit for the retained earnings account. Set the status to complete and click the Save button. Checking the chart should now show a reset current year earnings value, which should be empty. If other transactions have already been entered, there will be a small total in current year earnings, but this is to be expected. The retained earnings account should increase by the same amount as the previous year's current earnings after this process. There are other uses for journal entries, such as depreciation, amortization, corrections, and year-end adjustments. However, in Xreference, we have minimized the need for these by automating as much as possible in the accounting process. Any entries beyond the examples given should be overseen by a qualified accountant or experienced bookkeeper to ensure they align with standard accounting practices and ATO guidelines. This concludes our tutorial. To recap, we covered how to view the general ledger, create and edit journal entries, and specific examples of journal entries for ATO payments and year-end adjustments. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, we're here to help you make the most of our platform. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us using the About screen in Xreference.